So we're going to do composition of functions today. We have seen this before when we did composition of transformations. This one gets a little tricky when we don't include an integer or a number value. But other than that, it's very straightforward, easy cheesy lemon squeezy. Here we go. So they give us a really nice example here at the beginning. A circular garden has a radius of 15 feet. And it's going to be covered with topsoil, and that's going to cost $1.25 per square foot. Okay? So, what are the two steps that we have to do in order to solve this problem? Figure out how much soil is going to cost us. First step?
Find how much the rate, or find the diameter.
Right. Determine the area. Find out how much soil we need to cover, and then figure out how much it's going to cost. Okay, calculate the cost. So here we go. What's the formula for the area of a circle?
2 times pi times the radius.
Good, pi r squared. And our radius is? Good, 15. Love how everybody's with me today, thanks. So 15 squared is 225. Pi. Go to your handy dandy calculator, please. 225 times pi.
786.8583471.
Thank you. We are rounding to the nearest square foot. So I believe that will be 707. Thank you. So that's how much topsoil we need to purchase. The next piece is how much will that cost? How do you suppose we would calculate the cost of our soil? Beautiful. We're starting to wake up. I love it. And this is money. Think about your answer. I have $883.75. Anyone disagree with me?
Would it matter if we...
Well, then you gotta add tax in that too, so
Right,
it's
and-
gonna be a higher rate.
You're absolutely right. The actual cost is probably going to be different, but this is kind of a ballpark figure to get us started. Okay, so it was a two-step problem. We had to find an answer. So this was our 15 radius. To find the area that we had to cover. Then we used the area with the cost to get how much it was going to cost us all together. Okay? That's a composition of functions. You just did one. Congratulations. Take a bow. Yep. Round of applause. Here we go. So much for real life. Now we're just jumping straight into the math. It's not going to probably be connected to anything at all. First of all, look at our notation. We've got something with a bunch of parentheses, and then we have what I like to call a fog. F of G, okay? So I call that fog. So we have the parenthesis notation or the fog notation. They mean the same thing. It is not on your calculator. But you don't need it on your calculator, trust me. It's not, it's fine. Okay, I promise. This says, let's start with letter A. Take the number 1 and plunk it into the G function. Okay, so I'm going to calculate first what G of 1 is. So I'm replacing the X with the number 1 and getting an answer.
What?
I'm not done. Now I'm going to take my answer from G of 1 and plunk that into the F function and get an answer. And that is my final answer.
So it's 2x plus 3, or like every time? It's like that's always the rule?
For this particular exercise.
Oh.
When we go to something else, it'll tell you what the rules are, what the functions are. Yes. Good question. I'm not even gonna ask how you're doing, I'm just gonna move on to letter B. And in a couple more, once you get kind of the swing of it, then I'll check in with you. But until then, I'm gonna assume that you don't like it and don't understand it. Well, moving on to letter B, we're gonna figure out what f of 2 is. So I'm gonna take my 2 and replace the x with it.
-1.
And I do get -1, correct. And then I'm gonna take that answer and put it in for G. Or into G, I should have said, I apologize. And crunch those numbers. And I get 1 as my final answer for that.
So if you plug the 1 in there, it would come out? I don't know.
No. Yes. No. Maybe. Letter C as in cat. We're going to use the G function twice. So G of 0. So you're replacing the x with the number 0.
So 3.
Correct. And then we're going to calculate what G of 3 is. So I believe 9 is our final answer. Okay. Besides being weird and different, is it manageable? If you go slow, yes, I agree. Good, good.
If we know when to recognize it,
It's going to always look like these.
don't like it.
It's going to be very straightforward. It's not going to be hidden in some kind of a word problem. You're like, I don't know what to do. No, no, no. Okay,
Next one, you're gonna combine like terms.
where are we?
Fog.
In fog. Nope, same thing happens. We're going to start with G of -2
Why not?
because we start at the inside and work our way out.
Oh,
Because we need that first answer before we can proceed. And then we go out to F of our answer. Now, this is one of those, I think Caitlin's the one who said go slow. Pay attention, it's -1 squared.
1.
Okay, good. 1 take away 5 is -4.
What, don't you multiply them at all anywhere?
Who, where, what?
What's
For
that little-
fog?
Yeah, what's that little O's? That's
It's,
like a
yep, it's
multiplication
just
or-
no, it's just a different symbol than the parentheses.
Oh.
That's all.
do they come up with stuff just to like purposely confuse people?
I honestly don't know a whole lot about the
Really
fog
good at it, too.
history.
What's the point of like, it's not like it's a huge shortening.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I honestly don't know.
makes it longer.
All right, let's move on to letter E. We're going to start with F of 3. And then we're going to use that in our G. Anybody feel daring enough to try letter F on their own? All right. Go ahead and try letter F on your own. I will do it up here for those of you who are still on shaky ground. I'm going to just wait a couple of minutes while people are writing. Okay, but I will fill in all the work, okay? Go ahead and give it a shot. All right, so when we F an F of -1, careful when you say that, it could end up sounding like swearing. You get a final answer of 11.
You finish these notes now.
Okay, to the back. Oops, let me screen shade it. To the back, we're going to do the same kind of thing, but instead of having an equation, we're going to get our information from a graph. Okay? And it's very straightforward, okay? We're given two different graphs. F of x looks like a line, and f of g looks like a parabola. And we're going to use those to do some composition of functions. So here we go. We need f of 2. Well, remember, this 2 is our x value, and so we need to know what y is. So if we go over to 2, then our y value at that point is 3. Somebody say okay.
Right.
Okay.
Great, thank you for the lines. We're gonna take that 3 and put it into our parabola function. So I need g
I am using 2 and 3.
of the 3. We're using 2 because it told us. We're using 3 because that was the answer. That's where, okay, the point on the line. And so now we're going to use that 3 in our parabola. So I go over to 3, and where does that hit my parabola? And that's our final answer.
That's not that bad.
We're going to do a few more, and hopefully more of you agree with Garrett on how this is all going down. Letter B, we're going to start at g of -1. So remember, this -1 is our x value. So I'm going to -1, I'm going to go down and see where that hits my parabola. And that's at -5. And I'm going to use that -5 in my line.
Is the number always x?
Yes, inside, yep,
It's always x?
Always.
No matter what?
correct. Yep. So f of -5, so I'm going to my line, and I'm going to -5, and I'm gonna go up and see, and it looks to me like this isn't hitting in a particularly beautiful point, but I'm gonna ballpark it at -1/2. That's it. Okay, good. Good. And those of you that don't like this, today's the one, it's a one and only. It's a one-hit wonder,
What about a quiz?
okay? I might throw one question on a quiz, but not anything that's gonna kill your average. I didn't mean to
Oh,
do
hello.
that at all. Here we go. So again, we're starting with our x value at 1. Where does it hit our parabola? At 3. Oh, I can't write that there because that's not the final answer. I apologize. G of 1 equals 3. And then I'm going to do G of 3. 1, 2, 3. Where does that hit? And 3. That's our final answer. Why don't you try the next 3, see how they go. And we'll compare answers in just a minute. They're just like these, yeah?
So you can start with F on B, right?
Correct, yep, you start at that inside, you start with F, correct. So, correct final answers, here is a 3, a 2, and a 3. Okay, now's sort of the tricky part. Notice in exercise 4, we don't have a number inside our parentheses. We just have an X. Okay? But the same process happens. It says take g of x, so this equation, and replace the x in here with it. Let me show you what I mean. So there's no sort of first step. Okay? There's no sort of first step like there was up above. We're just going to take that equation that's the inside, so this equation goes into the function f in this case. So I'm going to replace my x here with the g of x. Take a look at it, see what happened. Okay? F of x said 3 times something, take away 2.
So there's still gonna be X left to that.
Correct, there's still going to be an x left in your answer, and you're going to combine some like terms, distributive property, all that fun. Okay? Let me move this up here so I have some room. So 15x plus 12 minus 2. So 15x plus 10. Done.
You just leave it.
Say it again? That's it. These are the ones that are a little weird.
But they're, oh.
All right, I'm going to switch colors here to do letter B. So this time we're going to take all of f of x and plunk it into g. So all of this goes where the x is. So it's 5 parentheses plus 4. Done. Okay? It's weird. No question about it. And then number 5. We're going to take all of g of x and plunk it into f of x. So all of this is going to change and replace that x squared. So it's all of g is going to get squared. Do you remember how to do these?